Have you ever wondered why the universe feels so unkind to those who refuse to accept anything less than truth? There is a certain pain in carrying such a soul. You have felt it, haven't you? That strange ache when everyone around you seems to find love so easily, while you are left in a space between desire and careful judgment. This is not punishment, it is preparation. What you are about to learn will show you why some souls face what feels like a long cosmic delay, why love appears to avoid those who need it most deeply, and how this waiting is not a denial, but a design. The universe does not reject rare souls. It shapes them, refines them, and prepares them to hold a kind of love that rises above normal human experience. A connection that is not ordinary, but extraordinary. Carl Jung once explained that some people carry within themselves a natural rejection of the shallow and the false. Their very being, down to the cellular level, resists the superficial. Have you ever felt that ordinary relationships are not enough for you? That simply filling space with someone is not the same as expanding your soul or your consciousness. Some souls are built this way. They cannot pretend to be happy where no true connection exists. They cannot create chemistry through effort alone. They cannot accept partial understanding and call it love. Such souls are bound to live with authenticity, blessed and burdened by standards that feel more like chains. Before these rare souls can receive their true counterpart, they must face what seem like a series of cosmic tests. These are not punishments from a cruel universe, but necessary passages. Each test removes what is false, borrowed, or superficial everything that could blind the soul from recognizing its real reflection when it finally arrives. Every trial uncovers what still needs healing, which patterns must be broken, and which illusions still block inner clarity. The first of these initiations often comes disguised as unbearable solitude. Not the chosen solitude of retreat or reflection, but the heavy isolation that arrives when every available option feels empty. When every possible partner speaks a language your soul cannot understand, you find yourself surrounded by people, yet deeply alone. You watch others build connections that seem genuine, while you remain unable to reach that. Same level, this solitude is not proof of your weakness. It is proof of your uniqueness. Carl Jung described this as the necessary separation from the collective unconscious. It is the painful but vital journey of discovering what truly belongs to you and what you have simply inherited from family, culture, or circumstance. Rare souls must learn to separate their authentic desires from their conditioned expectations. To see the difference between real attraction and the magnetic pull of familiar dysfunction, the universe holds you in solitude until you stop trying. To force your expansive nature into relationships built for smaller dreams. During this time, you may notice how easily others seem to move through love, meeting, merging, and moving forward without the deep weight that touches your every romantic thought. You may begin to wonder if something is wrong with you, if your inability to feel satisfied with what is available is a flaw. Yet the universe stays silent during these doubts. It does not confirm or deny. It simply holds space, waiting for you to discover the truth for yourself. Have you ever struggled to tell the difference between being difficult and being discerning? This stage of the journey teaches rare souls that loneliness and solitude are not the same. Loneliness is the ache for connection, while solitude is the sacred space where you learn to connect more deeply with yourself. Rare souls must learn to live in their solitude without desperation. To see it not as a waiting room, but as a laboratory for self-discovery, the universe watches closely. Will you keep your standards, or will you lower them out of fear that holding them means being alone forever? Slowly, you begin to understand that solitude has a purpose. It acts as a filter, making sure that when real connection does come, it is born out of recognition and truth, not out of desperation. Those who rush to fill the emptiness often end up in relationships that recreate the same loneliness they were trying to escape, surrounded by someone who cannot see them, cannot meet them, cannot match the depth of their spirit. Then comes the second test. It is subtle, arriving in the form of someone who looks like everything you've been waiting for. Into your carefully built solitude steps a person who seems to speak your language, who mirrors your depth, who awakens every longing you have been guarding. They seem to see through your defenses and touch the most hidden parts of your heart. The connection feels fated, almost magical, as though the universe has finally delivered the missing piece. Carl Jung would call this the projection of your anima or animista, unconscious image of your ideal masculine or feminine that you project onto another person. What feels like love is often love for the parts of yourself that they reflect back to you. They do not truly love you in your wholeness, and you do not truly love them as they are. Instead, each sees in the other what their own unconscious longs to find. The bond feels like destiny, but it often carries the seeds of dissolution. The universe presents this test to see if you can tell the difference between genuine intimacy and projection, between being fully seen and being only idealized, between true love and the temporary healing of old wounds through someone else's attention. This person may appear almost perfect, sharing your values, mirroring your interests, fitting your nature so closely that it feels inevitable. Yet the danger is subtle. They do not reject you openly, but they love you incompletely. They love your sensitivity, but not your intensity, value your uniqueness, but ask you to shrink it when it feels inconvenient. If you accept this partial love, if you convince yourself that fragments are enough, the universe does not punish you. It simply lets you live through the slow erosion of self that comes when you hide essential parts of your nature. You discover why settling feels like spiritual death, why compromising your truth creates relationships that feel more like elegant loneliness than real partnership. The third initiation is even harder. It appears when someone truly right for you begins to approach your life. When the universe finally prepares to deliver what you have been seeking, your own defenses rise with surprising force. You may suddenly find reasons why this person is not suitable, create evidence that the timing is wrong, or fear that allowing hope will only bring heartbreak. Jung understood that the psyche often resists what it needs most, especially when that need threatens to break old patterns of self-protection. If you have grown used to solitude, if you have built your identity around being misunderstood, then the presence of a real partner can feel more frightening than their absence. Your own shadow whispers doubts, creating problems where none exist, stirring fears when you should feel certainty. You may compare them to an impossible standard born of fantasy. You may doubt their interest, imagining it will fade. You may test them, unconsciously pushing them away to see if they will fight to stay, creating conflict to prove they can handle your complexity. The universe does not step in to stop this self-sabotage. It allows you to discover for yourself whether you are truly ready for love, or whether you have simply grown comfortable with the nobility of suffering. This test asks, can you recognize genuine love when it appears? Can you receive it without destroying it with doubt? Can you risk disappointment for the possibility of real connection? Many rare souls fail here, not because they lack courage, but because they confuse wisdom with fear, protection with avoidance. They push away exactly what they have been waiting for, only realizing the truth after the chance has slipped away. Have you ever noticed that the most difficult test often comes at the very end of the journey? After you have endured solitude, projections, and even your own self-sabotage. The universe asks for one final transformation, a complete recalibration of your frequency. This means releasing not only toxic patterns, but also attachments that once felt positive but now hold you back. Friendships that keep you stuck in old versions of yourself, environments that limit your growth, or identities that feel safe but restrict your true expression, all must be released. Carl Jung called this individuation, the sometimes painful process of becoming who you truly are rather than who the world conditioned you to be. For rare souls, this phase often requires letting go of the victim story that has defined their suffering. The idea that being misunderstood makes them special, that sensitivity gives them privilege, or that depth excuses their resistance to vulnerability. The universe demands radical honesty, to see how you may have used your wounds to justify staying closed, how you may have hidden behind authenticity to avoid intimacy. This is not about becoming someone else, but about becoming fully yourself, shedding even the parts of your personality that keep love at a distance. During this recalibration, you naturally drift away from old habits, people, and places that no longer align with your evolution. Conversations that once felt energizing now drain you. Environments that once felt like home now feel limiting. Activities that once brought pleasure now feel empty. This is not depression, it is alignment. Your inner compass is adjusting to point toward what truly serves your growth, not what simply comforts your patterns. The universe watches to see if you can trust this process, if you can let go without clinging, if you can choose truth over approval, alignment over safety, authenticity over comfort. This is the test of becoming someone ready for real partnership rather than hiding in noble solitude. Then comes the final test, perhaps the hardest of all. The universe asks you to surrender the very thing you have been seeking, love itself. You must release the desperate need for partnership before partnership can arrive. You must find wholeness within yourself before union with another can be real. This surrender is not defeat. It is victory the moment you stop searching for completion in someone else and instead live as though you are already complete, already loved, already exactly where you need to be. Jung understood this as the shift from need to desire, from grasping to allowing. When you reach this state, you no longer scan every room for potential partners, no longer measure your worth by relationship status. You begin to live as though you are whole, because you are. The universe waits for this final surrender because it proves you are ready to love without attachment, to give without losing yourself, to receive without fear. Only when you no longer need love can you truly receive it. Only when you stop seeking can you recognize what has been seeking you all along. Only when you become yourself can you attract someone capable of loving the real you. This state creates a magnetic field that draws toward you not just anyone, but someone who has undergone their own trials, their own transformation, someone capable of meeting you at the same depth. The universe does not send you someone to heal your wounds. It sends you someone to celebrate your healing, not someone to complete you, but someone who honors your wholeness. When such a soul arrives, the recognition is instant and undeniable. There is no need to convince yourself of compatibility, no need to overlook red flags, no need to shrink or adjust. The connection feels natural instead of forced, peaceful instead of chaotic, expansive instead of limiting. You recognize each other not as strangers, but as familiar beings finally meeting in physical form. This recognition carries not the fire of projection, but the calm certainty of truth. There is no desperate clinging, no fear of loss, no need for control. What you share exists beyond circumstances. You can love fully while remaining fully yourself. For rare souls, the arrival of true partnership is not dramatic fireworks. It is recognition. It is peace. It is the freedom to be completely yourself, knowing that your authenticity is not too much, not inconvenient, not a burden, but the very reason you are loved. Do you see now why the path was so long? Why the tests felt endless? Why the waiting seemed unbearable? Jung would say that true union can only happen between two individuated souls, people who have done enough inner work to love without losing themselves, to give without demanding, to share without projecting their wounds onto each other. This kind of partnership is not about filling emptiness. It is about celebrating wholeness. It does not shrink you, but expands you. It does not demand you compromise your truth, but honors it. In such love, you are not too much. You are exactly enough. Your intensity is not a problem, it is a gift. Your complexity is not a burden, it is beauty. This is love that matches your depth, not just tolerates it. In this partnership, both people remain whole, choosing every day to share that wholeness. There is space for solitude, room for growth, freedom to disagree without fear of losing the bond. Love here is not a prison that asks you to pretend, but a sanctuary that allows you to become more of who you are. This love feeds your highest self, not your deepest fears. It supports your true purpose instead of burying it under roles and expectations. If you recognize yourself in this journey through solitude, projection, self-sabotage, recalibration, and surrender, then you already know why the universe prepared you this way. You were not being punished. You were being prepared, not overlooked, but refined, not denied, but made ready for extraordinary partnership. The delays were perfect timing. The disappointments were protection. The waiting was preparation for something far greater than ordinary love. Every step shaped you into someone capable of receiving and giving love from strength, not need, from wholeness, not emptiness, from choice, not desperation. The universe has not forgotten you. It has been shaping you for exactly the love your soul has always known was possible. So take a moment, reflect on your path. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every silence, it was all part of your refinement. Your willingness to endure, to trust timing, to keep your standards high when lowering them would have been easier. That is the courage of a rare soul. You are not preparing just to find love. You are preparing to be fully ready for the kind of love that can see you, meet you, and match you in every dimension of your being. If these words resonate with your own journey, share your reflections. What tests have you passed? What truths have you discovered? How has this path shaped your readiness for authentic love? Your voice may guide another rare soul walking the same road. And if this exploration spoke to you, subscribe for more insights into the deeper truths of love, relationship, and the extraordinary path of becoming fully yourself.